161st Street, Yankee Stadium.
Swung on a hit in the air to deep center. Gets back, away back. She is gone.
All right, welcome back to the Boys of 161st Street, episode 123. Today is May 13th, Thursday. I thought it was Friday, and I thought briefly it was Friday the 13th, so I was getting a little nervous. I was going to have to push the episode to tomorrow. I'm one of those. I'm very superstitious. I'm not superstitious. I'm a little stitious, Chandler. But today you got just...
For that.
I'm a big office guy, too, as you can tell. Oh, it's not queued up. But that's what she said. Today it's just me and Chandler. Some might say the founding fathers, others might say not because Chandler joined late, but
yeah, it wouldn't make a whole lot of sense, but I'll take it.
No, but how you doing, Chandler?
I'm doing okay. I fell asleep before it became 9-0, and I woke up right as it ended, so I'm okay with that. I'm taking this as a 4-0 loss instead of a 9-0 one because that's all I saw.
You're only awake for that long.
Exactly. So in my eyes, that's all that happened, and the rest of the unraveling, that's neither here nor there.
I mean, we still did take the series.
We did.
Today just felt not fun. Today felt like a regular Rays loss. Just not a fun time. I mean, not many good things to take away from this, so we're probably not going to talk much about it. Probably going to talk mainly about the two good games that we did have. One thing I did notice that even though I am going to probably talk a lot of good things on this podcast, we only had 4 runs, and I didn't realize that throughout the entire series. 5 now, including the single run we scored in this game. But 4 runs, not going to cut it. Wouldn't cut it for many teams, but it turns out that our pitching is just the best. So that is the only reason why we're staying afloat is because we're able to, give up nothing, and we have one of the best pitchers, if not. We're going to get into Jacob deGrom versus Gerrit Cole debate. I'm gonna put on a brave face. I'm going to do it for the Yankee fans. A lot of Yankee fans, I don't want to diverge too much. I'm going to get into that in a little bit. But a lot of Yankee fans will just to completely dismiss it right away. Like, no, he's absolutely better. And deGrom has been better for the past 2 years. I'm talking about this year. Not going to get into that too much right now. Want to get into not rounding third, hot or not?
Well, I got one negative, one positive about this series real quick, just kind of what you were talking about. My negative today, that lineup, when it came out, I literally, the minute I saw it, I texted, I don't even know if I texted you too, but I texted one of my friends and said, I mean, if I wasn't a Yankees fan, I'm taking the Rays at plus money because this lineup is fucking atrocious. I don't know why we're still doing the shit where Luke needs a day off. He's been back for 2 days. He presumably should be okay to go 3. Whatever. And then you mix in Mike
3.
Ford. Huh?
He went 3 games. I thought it was 3 games.
No, he played 2.
2 games, you're right.
Yeah, exactly. So he needs the off day. And then you bring in Mike Ford, who can't fucking hit to save his life, and all this other shit. I was just like, I don't like it. I don't love it.
Andujar comes back.
Easy. I'm a big Andujar fan. But either way, you see that lineup, you're like, what the fuck? But positive.
Didn't get a hit, by the way, Andujar.
Yeah, he hit it hard, though. It's fine. Positive, it seems to me that we're finding ways to win games rather than lose games. I mean, no shit, like you can look at the wins and losses, but earlier in the year, it felt like any close game, it was inevitable we were going to lose. We were going to find a way to boot something. Like the Gerrit Cole 1-0. At the beginning of the year, that's a 3-1 loss. Now it's a 1-0 win. So we're finding ways to win rather than ways to blow it, and I'm okay with that. Obviously, it's not a recipe to be the most successful team ever, but it's a step in the right direction. So there's my one positive takeaway for scoring 4 runs.
On to more positives. You want to start hot or not? Obviously, you're going to do both of them this time because you're you're on a date, kind of nervous. So let's do hot or not. Hot or not is presented by Action Network. Action Network's a fun app where you can track your bets. We like betting. So do you. Track your bets. Make sure you're responsibly gambling and tracking them so you know what you're good and bad at. Follow us. I'm at the 161, not the 161, at 161 Luke. I missed all my bets today, but I was doing well. Last night I actually put a bet in. I didn't realize you could do this on Action Network where you can actually put in just prop bets and live prop bets. So last night in the game where Judge, I think it was his third at bat, I took him to get a hit, and there was runners on because I've been doing the book actually recently. been doing the book, like marking it, the scorebook.
Oh,
It
you've
keeps
been
me,
why?
just keeps me more engaged, and I like it. I don't like being on my phone. I'm watching.
Dude,
I,
no, I'm
I
too
miss out a
scarred from
bunch.
all my.
I mean, you were asleep for half the game, so you clearly weren't during the book. But I was doing the book, and I noticed in the game yesterday that Judge was making contact, just getting unlucky, getting hits, but making contact on even the other ones that he didn't get hits on. So I was like, I'll take a live bet. He's seeing the ball today because I'm noticing that he's hitting the ball. Took a live bet, put it in Action Network, put 8 units on it, cashed out.
I mean,
Did it again with Voight for the next one. Missed.
You're skewing your book for the people, or your action by putting 8 units on it, but
well, that's what I put on it. Hot or Not, presented by Action Network. First on our list for the hots, Chandler. Obvious. This was obvious. Gerrit Cole. Gerrit Cole for the season, 1.37 ERA. Fourth among starters with a minimum 30 innings pitched. The two of them have thrown no-hitters that he's behind in terms of the ERA. Carlos Rodon, DeGrom means I'll get into that later. 78 strikeouts, second in the MLB behind Bieber. 2.8 WAR, first in MLB among everybody. That's among Cole. That's above DeGrom, above Trout. 1.1 FIP, second in the MLB. 26 K to walk ratio. 56 strikeouts since his last walk, tied MLB record. MLB most games in a season with 12 Ks plus 0 runs, 0 walks. He has 3 this season. The only other people to do it for 3 were Pedro in 2000 and Sandy Koufax for 1965. Wow, that was a long one, but it needed to be said. More on that later. Obviously, you're buying that, right?
yeah, I mean, I don't think that's even a question. That's what you don't pay somebody $324 million to not buy that.
He's underpaid. Yankees rotation since April 22nd. Stat courtesy of Andrew from Bronx Pinstripes. Since the start of the Cleveland series, we have led the MLB in innings pitched, led the MLB in FIP, led the MLB in WAR, led second in ERA, second in strikeouts, lowest WHIP. You buying the Yankees starting rotation to keep this up?
No.
Hard buy? I mean, hard sell?
Hard sell.
Aaron Hicks, 303 batting average, 415 OBP, 150 weighted runs created plus, 6 walks, 10 for the last 33.
I'm gonna sell that. I don't think he's gonna keep that up.
Honorable mentions, we have Judge, who as of tonight is now 6 for his last 11. That's coming back from 2 for his last 24 before that, bringing his batting average up to about 270. I haven't looked at the updated one, but that was from 240. So honorable mention to him. And honorable mention to Monty. 1 start, but, good start for him. 6 innings pitched, 2 hits, 1 earned run, 9 strikeouts.
See Monty, that is fine. He's doing exactly what, if you looked at the beginning of the year to anything we've ever said about him, it's the exact same thing, and he's living up to exactly that. I don't expect him to be Gerrit Cole, but I don't expect him to be bad. I think he's going to be average, and then toss in 1 good start because look at all of his other metrics. He has like the 3rd softest contact in the league, but he's still just not the Cy Young caliber pitcher, which is fine. He does exactly what you want, and he comes out and turns in a star like that. I mean, I buy that. He's exactly what you want him to be.
Well, he was an honorable mention. I didn't put him on the list yet because it was only 1 start, but
he deserves some credit though. He's a guy when he's out there. I feel more confident in the game when I see him than I see Tyon or anything like. I mean, not every other pitcher, but most pitchers out there. Like I don't feel. I don't know. I feel like it's boom or bust. I feel like he's very consistent. I guess so. Yeah. He deserves credit. That's all.
Definitely deserves credit, and if he's on, this rotation has, like I already said, I mean, we were one of the ones that you bought. You bought this, right? The Yankee rotation. Obvious super buy with Cole, right? That's obviously buy.
Oh no, I sold the Yankees rotation as a whole, definitely.
So why'd you sell that? You think they're obviously just going to come down to earth? They're not the best rotation. They've been the best starting rotation in baseball pretty much across the board, and it's not close.
Yeah,
since April 22nd, and that's almost a month. So that's a pretty decent sample size considering the season's a month and a half in.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good sample size, and it is what it is. What was that? April what?
22nd.
So we've played Cleveland, Baltimore, Detroit, Houston, Washington, and Tampa now. So, I mean, not exactly you know. But I mean, offense has been down as a whole. I mean, I think the rotation's good, and I think they'll be good enough to win games. Obviously that's not sustainable though. Especially, I'm interested to see how they do in the second half with all the injuries and everything like that. I just think I don't think you can count on that level of production for a whole 162.
No. I mean, especially with guys that we'll get into this a little bit later, but, Tyone kind of blows up today. The guys like Montgomery, that's why I was a little bit more excited about Montgomery, is because you don't expect him to be having these great starts and having, sorry, the city behind me, the great New York City. You hear the fucking sirens and shit outside?
I did.
But
you're headed to Supply House.
You don't expect guys like Montgomery to be, the number 2 starter, but you expect him to at least carry some weight in this rotation.
I'll tell you exactly what I expect from Montgomery. Every time he goes out there, I'm not expecting a guaranteed win. I'm expecting when he leaves the game it to be the 6th or 7th inning. He's going to get you there, and it's going to be a 2. He's going to keep you within 2 or 3, and he's going to strike out 5 and walk 1.
That's kind of been what this season's about for Montgomery, and we talked about that on his roll call before the season started, is we haven't really known much about Montgomery. So this has been just a really big, who are you type season. And we're starting to get the vibe of like exactly what you said. I think that's who he is. We haven't seen, the end of last year he kind of pitched, and the year before that he was injured, and the year before that, I think that was 2017. He showed flashes of 2018. We're like, oh, this guy might be good, and then he got hurt. So we really haven't seen much out of him. So we don't know that much about him. So maybe that is him. Maybe we are realizing that he is just this guy who can eat innings to a degree. He's not going to be a horse like the guys that, old Kluber and what Cole is now. 6 innings might be his wheelhouse. And if he has the potential to flash some stuff in the pan like this, 1 earned run, 9 Ks, 2 hits, that's a great start. I don't expect that every time, but something along those lines, a little bit added to that stat line, I'm cool with that. And I think Montgomery is a perfect middle of the rotation guy, especially when you have, Severino coming back. Who knows what the deal is with that. But, he's definitely
with a fully healthy
3 or 4.
rotation. Yeah, with a fully healthy rotation, he is your back end 3, 4, 5, somewhere. He slots somewhere in there, depending on who you have at that time, because injuries and everything like that. But there's a perfect example of it. I think it was his 2nd or 3rd start of the year. He clearly didn't have it. Kind of got roughed up in the first, gave up like 2 runs. He's throwing balls. It might have been against the Rays, honestly. He's throwing balls. He's not really locating. None of his shit's biting in the zone. And he still turned in 5+ and gave up 3 runs and keeps you in the game. I'm pretty sure they went on to lose the fucking game because that was the early Yankees when they forgot how to play baseball. But I mean, if you have a back end rotation guy that can keep you in the game for, 5, 6 innings, then turn it over to the bullpen we have, that's all you can ask for once you get past Cole, Kluber, and whatever Tyone was supposed to be. But in a perfect world, you have Cole, Kluber, Severino, and then you turn it over to the back end rotation guys who all you want is 5 or 6, and then you turn it over to the big bullpen of Green, Britton, Chapman, whoever.
So let's talk about the big boy. It was a mouthful. That was the longest hot or not I think we've had. Just it's supposed to be a lightning round. Just read off a couple stats, quick Twitch reaction. There was too much to read. I honestly left a bunch out that I'm gonna get into right now because it was as I was saying it, I wrote this down and I was like, oh, I could probably get this all out. It just felt long. That was the first time we've gotten to the end of the hot song. We got to the end of it. I think it's a 10-minute plus long song. Might have to extend it or put it on a loop next time because I imagine Cole is going to have some more notches on his belt in terms of the stats. He's going to pump his own stats a little bit more, I think. I have a good feeling about this guy. So let's dive into him a little bit more. Obvious buy. So his ERA, 1.37. So one thing that I want to bring to everybody's attention, and we've talked about it a little bit before, but kind of not in a serious sense, and I'm not sure why. And I was one of the people that haven't really brought enough attention to this, and I kind of want to, because I feel like he's being discounted for whatever reason just because, and yes, I'm talking about the DeGrom versus Cole conversation right now. I think people, when you bring it up, and I've commented on posts from the Yankees, I reply to the tweets and stuff like that and say best pitcher in New York as a joke. And if he keeps doing this shit, the conversation becomes something that's actually worth talking about. And to be honest, it may be a bit premature right now to make that conversation happen, but, that's what bold takes are for, and that's what gets the fucking views. So let's do it right now. No, I'm kidding. But I actually think that this should be talked about. I mean, I was looking back and forth at Cole versus DeGrom stats this year. And I want to emphasize that I'm talking about this year right now. I'm not talking about the prior two. The prior two, Jacob DeGrom, back-to-back Cy Young winner. This is no slap in the face at Jacob DeGrom by any stretch of the imagination. Jacob DeGrom is probably the best pitcher on the planet. I just wanted to put a little bit of respect on Cole's name in terms of this conversation, because obviously when you bring it up and people bring it up and Mets fans will bring it up and other people will bring it up across baseball and just be like, they'll just dismiss it right away. Don't you think so?
Oh, yeah, no, I feel like it's... Well, and like you said, the last 2 years it has been, I say one-sided, but that's not a slight at Cole. That's just how fucking good DeGrom's been. He has. Otherworldly. He has been the best pitcher that the last 2 years, the run he's been on is like something that I haven't been able to witness in my baseball fandom and actually appreciate, like old enough to appreciate. Like he has been that fucking good.
He has. But my main basis for this take is I think that it's way closer than people think this year. I think this year, in the small sample size we've had, and this Gerrit Cole is no fucking schmuck. He's not just, I read some other names aloud before, like Carlos Rodon, John Means. John Means, good pitcher. Carlos Rodon, maybe not as much. He's probably at the bottom of that list right there. But those guys having a great start to the year, they're probably going to tail off, like you said with the Yankee rotation. They're probably going to come back down to earth a little bit. Gerrit Cole is that dude. Like if I read some other names out there and I said Shane Bieber, like he did with the strikeouts, you expect that. He's a good pitcher. So this isn't fool's gold by any means. So when you take a deeper dive into the Cole versus DeGrom stats, right now, as it sits right now, Gerrit Cole 1.37 ERA, Jacob DeGrom 0.68. Yes, he has a way lower ERA. That's unheard of how low his ERA is. Unheard of as well for Gerrit Cole, 1.37. But one thing I did want to throw in there that kind of brings this whole conversation to light when you look into a little bit of the deeper analytics, not that deep, FIP. Obviously, if you're a baseball fan, you know what FIP is. If you don't know what FIP is, it's fielding independent pitching. Fielding independent pitching is what your ERA would be if you had average fielders behind you. So Gerrit Cole's FIP is 1.1. His ERA was 1.37, meaning that he has bad fielding behind him, which we've seen. So he doesn't have the luxury of having good fielding. So if your ERA is greater than your FIP, that means you're pitching better than the numbers show for ERA. If your FIP is higher than your ERA, you're getting lucky a little bit because then you have good fielding, they're making good plays, yada, yada, yada. So in the case of this, FIP for Cole is 1.1, Jacob DeGrom 1.02. So his FIP is 1.02 compared to 0.68 ERA. It's getting a little lucky. So the 0.68 ERA, I'm getting really, really deep into the numbers here. And I don't want it to be all about that, but that's kind of what you have to do with this conversation. So I'm just saying, his 0.68 ERA, Cole has the exact same FIP pretty much as him. So they've been pitching to the same degree if they had the exact same fielders behind them. So with that being said, the next stat I wanted to compare them to, current health. Cole is healthy. Cole's as healthy as ever. DeGrom, not so much. He's going to spend the 10 days on the IL. He's probably coming back after that. But WAR. Who knows how it's calculated? Who cares? It's what they care about to put people in the Hall of Fame. Cole's leading the entire goddamn league in it, and that includes Jacob DeGrom. He's in the league. WHIP, basically the same thing, 0.68 versus 0.60. Wins, who cares? Gerrit Cole has lettuce. Jacob DeGrom does not. Honestly, a little bit weird looking hair. If you ask me, I liked it better when he had the locks. Maybe he should grow that back out, but and all the StatCast numbers are basically exactly the same. You could pick one out, and they're all in the 99th percentile. So,
I think right now is the closest it's ever been. Like, just by the eye test alone, and your Luke confidence meter. If either one of them take the mound, you feel pretty fucking good. They're both pitching at a level right now that's just you can't distinguish between the two because both you're expecting to go out there and give up 0 or 1 run. Like you can't really debate who's better in this current season just because they're both pitching the respective best in their team, league, whatever. So
I mean, there's something to be said about, like I mentioned the WAR leaders. Cole is at 2.8. This is Fangraphs WAR. Cole's at 2.8. DeGrom's at 2.7. So there's something to be said, and those are the top two. Something to be said about the two pitchers in New York, and it's literally this season 1A, 1B. I don't care if I'm right. I don't care, and I don't even think he's better. I think that DeGrom is still better, but I think it's way closer this season than people give Cole credit. Cole is a damn good pitcher.
I see what you're saying. It's not a question just to blow off anymore. Like, who's the best pitcher in New York? Like, no shit, it's DeGrom. He just doesn't get run support. Like, now you can actually have the conversation. I get what you're saying.
That's all I'm saying. And I know people are gonna, when we're gonna make the clip tomorrow, it's gonna say Cole greater than sign DeGrom, just because why not? Just 'cause I like to get the fucking people going. And people are not even going to watch the clip of me saying this and saying, no, it's just a conversation now versus just dismissing it. And people are going to come and be like, no, what are you talking about? Unfollow. And then be like, I don't give a fuck about you, whatever. So I'm just saying it's a conversation, and it's a damn fun conversation to watch. The one thing I do hope and pray that the MLB does is just please, God, when we play them in, I think it's July. Is it July? I have the schedule down here.
I have it right here. Let me look it up. Either way.
Yeah, it's July 3rd. I'm actually going for it. It's going to be a fun weekend. 4th of July, July 3rd. I was going to get a suite, but I'm not because it's expensive. But please, God, just give us 4th of July, Cole versus DeGrom, please.
I mean, that's got to be the most... That's got to be the most patriotic thing that Rob Manfred could ever do in his career. You want to make up for your just like years of shitty decisions? Give us Cole and DeGrom on. I know that's not technically his call, but
for him.
I know it's not up to him. But if you have any sort of integrity in the game, you force that to happen.
I think that's on the teams. I think they need to realize that
it 100% is.
They could so make that happen. And I think that's what you need to give the people. Like, if you need to skip a Cole start or skip a DeGrom start just so that they line up perfectly to play on 4th of July, fucking do it, because that will be the best thing. I'm personally a big pitcher's duel guy. The home run ball, whatever. I like football scores when I watch a game sometimes, but when I get a good pitcher's duel, especially that pitcher's duel, like every time, like in that wild card series when when they didn't make the playoffs, when Bieber was facing Cole, it was like, sign me up for this. This is what I want to see. And
yeah, it was like 7-3,
but going into that, that's what I want to see. And I don't think it'll be 7-3 for a Cole DeGrom game.
Jesus Christ! With the way we're hitting right now, we might score negative runs against DeGrom. Cole will go 8 innings, give up 0, and we'll still lose. Like,
I fucking love this dude. I think he's underpaid. I made those posts and you get the few people that are just like, what are you talking about? He's making $300+ million. It's like, dude, I'm literally kidding, but it's cool. But I think he's really good at baseball, and I enjoy watching him. And can we dive back into that one stat real quick? The 50s. I had two. I literally wrote that in my notes. I wrote them down as wow stats. Just like, I go wow when I see those. And 56 strikeouts since his last walk ties the MLB record.
It's pretty good.
You gotta hope he doesn't come out for the next start and just walk somebody. That would suck.
Dude, was he like was the guy from Milwaukee, Corbin Burns or whatever, went out with 58 and he broke that today? I mean, Cole's got to come out there, and I don't care if he gives up 3 by throwing fastballs down the middle. You throw 99, 100, go break the record, and then we'll bite the corners again. I know that's a stupid thing to say.
It's pretty weird.
I don't actually mean that, but
no, I don't know what you're talking about. I honestly didn't even listen to that. But that's pretty fucking wild. It's wild that he has such good strikeout stuff, And he has that kind of command that he hasn't walked somebody since he struck out 50 fucking 6 people. Do you know how many people that is?
Yeah, roughly fucking 56 of them.
Yeah, but like the batters he has to face, I think his K percentage is like 50%, so that means he's probably faced about like 120 people, quick math. But 120 people he hasn't walked somebody. That's pretty fucking wild. And then the MLB most games in a season with 12 or more strikeouts, 0 runs, 0 walks. 3 people have done what he's done in a season 3 times. Gerrit Cole has 3 this year, and years very early on. Pedro did it in 2000. He had 3 that entire season, and Sandy Koufax had 3 in 1965. The whole season. Gerrit Cole on May 13th, not Friday the 13th, has done that already, and I anticipate him breaking that record too. Is he almost? So we had that conversation of DeGrom versus Cole. They're on opposing leagues. Is he? Like, who's gonna take the Cy Young from him? Is it just Bieber and him? Is that just it?
In the American League?
Yeah.
Fuck, I don't know. I guess, yeah.
I was a betting man.
I mean, I was looking at the Cy Young odds like 2 or 3. It was like a week ago, and he was just the odds-on favorite, like outrageous Cy Young odds. Like you had DeGrom, I think he was like plus 175, which for an award in May is ridiculous. And I think Cole was like plus 225, which is still fucking ridiculous. But I mean, I don't see any way. He doesn't even have to pitch this well. I don't see any way that if he stays healthy, that he can lose what he has going right now. I mean, you have John Means. That's the other closest person, and you know,
Dude, he's on my fantasy team.
Means
Good
or
pitcher.
Cole?
Means. Good pitcher. I don't think it's even close.
No, I'm
got a
looking
good
through kind
changeup.
of the stats right now, but there's just nobody else that has a shot at this moment other than Bieber.
And the thing is, the whole reason we do this hot or not segment is like, can this person sustain it? Is this just a small sample size type thing? Can he keep this shit going? I mean, if there's one person who can keep this shit going, I mean, it's not even a sample size thing at this point. This man's been doing it for years. He's been doing it for multiple years. He's coming Cy Young 2, 3, 4. Look at his fucking Baseball Reference page. It lights up.
It's the first time he's ever done it at the beginning of the season, though, which I think is even scarier. Because look back through his career, he's like, I don't know. He's like a mid 3s, like almost upper 3s ERA for the first half of the season. Then after the All-Star break, he's like under 2. He's doing that to start. And if he's somebody that only gets better, I don't expect him to get better than what he is right now. But even if he maintains that or something close to it for a whole season, obviously he's your slam dunk guaranteed Cy Young winner.
Dude, we were taking a deep dive into when he had a slow start to the season last year. We started taking a deep dive into, does he historically have slow starts? And we were looking at it last year, and he was just like, yeah, he actually does have slow starts. It tends to be. So now imagine a Gerrit Cole who hasn't won a Cy Young in his career yet. Maybe because of these slow starts, they can factor that in a little bit too much. But now he's coming out guns blazing. He looks like he's mid-season form, and nobody has a chance. And I don't foresee that ever happening. And the Yankee team that we think is going to be here offensively, and I think will come back, and that's my bold prediction. I think the Yankees will continue to bop, is that I think he'll get run support. I think he'll get wins, whether or not wins count for shit. He'll get that. I don't know that the Indians will have more run support for Bieber. I don't know that, the Orioles will have more run support for him. So I think he's the odds-on favorite. I'm going to lock it into my Action Network, and that is going to get me going. I'm going to make some money. So I hope you guys do too.
I like his confidence he has this year. Just the last thing, not that he's ever lacked confidence. How could you when you're that fucking good? But he kind of adopted the Chapman stare down yesterday. Struck out his last guy.
I fucking love that, dude.
Dude, I love that. Struck out the last guy like 99 on the black. Fucking stared him the entire way to the dugout. Walked straight in. Tipped the cap up. Cracked his first smile of the day and threw an entire can of fucking Grizzly wintergreen in his cheek. It was just, he was ready to roll.
I meant to talk about that, honestly. I haven't mentioned anything to do with the fucking dong that he packed. And I honestly want to do more. I want to make a shirt that just says like I just had the caption for that before. We just ended up taking quick pictures of the TV just to post those, and it was like throw gas, pack heaters, and I would wear that on a shirt.
I don't even think you need a caption. I would get one of just, if I could just get one of that cheek, the fucking horseshoe he had in there right there on his face. That's all I need. You just know. That's my ace.
We'll make it happen. Want to get into the knots?
I'd love to.
You'd love to. That's not good.
I mean, whatever. You know what I mean.
If I can get the sound to play. There you go.
Uh-oh.
Sad song. So Clint Frazier, 1 for his last 12, not counting tonight. And Clint actually tonight, no hits and a walk. So 1 for his last 15, quick math. 1 for his last 15, 4 for his last 35. Got ejected, don't know what he said. Over the last month, he has the same weighted runs created plus as Tyler Wade at 70, and he's the 99th percentile in chase rate.
Oh, yeah, I'm buying that, actually, sadly.
Yankee first baseman, 6th in strikeouts at 56, 24th in weighted runs created plus, 20th in WAR, 24th in batting average, 24th in RBIs.
No, I mean, Luke's back now, so sell that.
I didn't have that many, so we'll just end it there. I got a couple honorable mentions that I want to give them a knot, because then we have to mark it on the list, and then it's just a whole big thing now that they made it to the knots. It's not somebody where you want to go, but what are you doing?
Oh, you're good. The cat was making noise. I was going to go take his fucking...
Peel the curtain back a little bit. All right, whatever. So, Luke, you bought Clint being cold.
Yeah, I don't know how much more he has. Not even in the tank, because I really do think he's a talented baseball player, and I think he's got a future in this league. I just think they fucked him over so many times that I think it's finally hit his last straw. I don't know that he'll be an all-star on the Yankees. I don't think he'll get a chance to be. Like, he just, I don't know, as a platoon outfielder, just whatever. I don't know. I don't think he's that bad, but I think his days of being a perennial all-star or something like that, I don't think he's going to see those on the Yankees.
I just, with Clint, it's just, we've been such a podcast that has supported him for everything. And I do think he's still a really good baseball player. I do think that he's going to be amazing eventually. But, I mean, Clint Frazier, I mean, what are you doing, dude? I mean, he just doesn't look, I mean, the 99th chase percentage in the league, that means he's literally the worst at looking at, like, he chases everything. That's not something that gets better. Like, he just lost out there. He looks like a young baseball player. He looks like he's not conditioned. He's not, and he doesn't look good. And I mean, some of the argument too is fielding too, which has looked better. The argument is that he shouldn't be diving for some of the balls. He doesn't need to be diving for some of the balls. And some of them, I agree. A lot of them, maybe you should dive for them.
They're fun to watch, and I'm not giving up on him.
No, not even close. But
he's got so much talent that you can't give up on him. I just don't know how much longer he has before the Yankees pull the cord on it completely. Because he got
what do you mean by pull the cord completely?
I mean, pull the cord as in they've already pulled it. He's not the everyday starter anymore. He gets decent amount of playing time, day in and day out, but if in a full, healthy lineup, whatever, perfect world, Brett Gardner's still taking at bats from him, stuff like that. He's still got to look over his shoulder at all times, and I just don't think that. I don't know. I just don't think I don't think the Yankees have confidence in him.
No, they don't.
Exactly. That's what I mean. That's what I mean by that. I guess that's the best way to put it.
No, the Yankees have no confidence in him. Honestly, I have him in fantasy, and I drafted him. And before the season started, he was we're talking about roll calls. We had his roll call. I was amped up about his because I was so amped. Clint's gonna be the starter this year, and that held true for the beginning of the season. He was also starting at the beginning of the season. He was named the starter, and then this shit happens again. And, usually I fault Boone for doing the thing with the outfielders, and it's like, why do you give this guy false hope? Why do you do this? Why do you do that? Why it's like not manipulating his service time, but like, what are you doing with him? Stop sending him down. Stop. Give the guy a fucking chance. He's actually good, and now he's getting a chance. He's not really taking advantage of it, and he doesn't really look like the Clint that I hoped there would be at the plate. Fielding, if you asked me last year if you gave me a few highlights of Clint right now, and you asked me last year if are you okay with that, I'd be ecstatic about that. Like the fielding, we've said before, when he was looking his worst, if you just field adequately, I've said this before, if you field adequately, your bat will play, you'll be an everyday starter, you'll be an all-star in this league. That is how you'll do it. Now he's above average defending. I'm not going to call him elite because he was in the running for a quarter season Gold Glove, but I do think that he can field his position. He's got a good arm. He's got to tame it. But I'm not sure I'm going to buy this. I think I'm actually going to sell this because I don't think, dude, his bat just plays, and I think the mistakes that he's making are all mental.
I agree.
I think
it's been his problem since he got there.
Yeah, 99% in chase percentage, like that's mental. Just like, it's weird because we say he's chasing everything, chasing. but it's weird because we say, stop chasing, but we also say swing the fucking bat because that was his issue at the beginning of the season. So it's such it's weird.
Just pitch selection in general. And you can see it every at bat. And the ones he does decide to swing at, it's like he makes up his mind too late. He's late on balls that I've never in his brief career seen him be late on. He's missing, like Rich Hill tonight's throwing 89 miles an hour, and Clint Frazier's late on it and fouling it back. And that's just not. It's kind of like what you saw with Gary at the beginning of his decline, and that's not to beat a dead horse, but it's comparable to that, and he's missing pitches in the zone and swinging at pitches out of the zone. And that's obviously when he stays true to his approach and everything like that, it's something beautiful. I hope he gets back there. I don't think he's going to, spiral down and be a 167 hitter forever. I'm just saying. Yeah. That's kind of what it reminds me of, is the first Gary slump that we really saw, is that he's missing fastballs and not overpowering ones. It's not like Chapman's blowing 102 by him. He's missing 92, 93, belt high.
Yeah. I'm not overly panicking about Clint, but I will say that I am not happy with what we're getting out of him. But moving on to the Yankee first baseman, what did you do with this one?
Oh, I mean, I sold it. That's who? Obvious. Bruce, Voit, and...
Well, I have the playing time that's for this position. This is this season, entire season. Yankees first basemen have been basically in the bottom
Bruce
third.
And Voit. I meant Bruce and Ford. Sorry.
So they've been in the bottom half in every offensive category, and basically the way that shook out in terms of playing time was DJ played 34 games at first base during this pre-Voit era, if that's what you want to call it. Ford played 13 games. Bruce played 10 games, RIP. Voit played 3. Miggy played... Did he play first today?
No, he played third.
So he played 3 as well. So they've been in like 24 to 20 range in just about every category. That was with DJ playing 34 games, and the next closest was 13, 10, and 3 and 3. So if you take DJ out of the equation, who's not a true first baseman, the production we've been getting out of first base is actually last in the league, because now you got Ford, Bruce, 2 games of Voit, and he went 0 for all of them. Obvious, not worried about that. That's just getting back into the swing of things. But
no, he's smoking the ball.
When you take DJ out of the equation there, who hasn't been his best self, but he's been certainly better than Ford and Bruce. Not saying much, but
Mike Ford is just... I'm so tired of seeing him at first base. You
won't have to anymore, so...
Thank God. Well, apparently I fucking do. That's a whole nother issue in itself.
They're working Voit back. They're working him back. That's just gonna... You're not going to have him for much longer. It's going to be here and there. Right? It's going to be here and there. It's going to be like whenever we see Wade, it's sparing times.
Mike Ford is the first base equivalent of Tyler Wade. They just can't run. He can't run.
He got thrown out too. So.
Fucking hit. He can't do anything. Just like Ford is so fucking frustrating to watch. Sorry, that's a little mini rant on the side. I just hate watching him fucking pop up to the second baseman every fucking at bat.
Honorable mention for this. I don't know if did I mention the honorable mention.
You did not. Either way, the point of the last one, just wrap it up because I didn't even answer the question because I got so fucking mad thinking about Mike Ford. I sell that. Luke Voigt's back. He was smoking baseballs. I mean, he missed a home run by 6 inches, hit the laser to third. He's fine. He looks
not
great.
Worried about first base.
Not at all.
We've been penciling this day, and like once Voigt's back, the boys are bopping. Voigt is literally the heart and soul of this team.
How about the dumbass that hit him in the hand? It's like second at bat back, and you fucking peg him in the wrist.
Series.
Luke
There's a lot
Voigt
that happened this series that are just moments that pissed me the fuck off or got me fired up. Like that really got me angry because you work all the way back, and then that happens. Another thing that really got the juices flowing was when Chapman was facing Brasso. I felt every emotion ever when that happened.
That was sad.
Ever.
I mean, I irrationally, like, I don't like any of the Rays, but I will hate Mike Brasso till the day I die now.
You know what I was thinking about today, too, about the Mike Brasso thing? He's batting like 170, but do you think, and this is how I thought if I was him, when he comes and plays the Yankees, because he did that, you think he is the alpha in the box, no matter how bad. If he was batting .02 this year, which most of the Rays this past month or so have been hitting the worst in the league, and I just feel like we're the reset button for them. Obviously, it didn't hold true for this season because we won the series because we won the series. But like when Mike Brasso comes in the box, I can't speak today. Podcast.
No, you're good.
But
I felt good about it. I honestly wasn't.
You
too
felt
worried.
like you were like we won that before it started.
Yeah, I mean that was so lucky. It was a 3-2 like 12 pitch at bat, and he caught a fastball and hit it perfect.
Yeah,
that's a career moment for Brasso.
But do you think he has extra confidence in the box when he comes like that Chapman moment? You think he's feeling himself right before that? Like, oh, I remember what I did.
He probably is for the first pitch, and then Chapman paints 102 moving on the black, and he's like, all right, well, maybe I'm not the big swinging dick here. And then he breaks off a splitter slider, and then another fucking fastball at his chin. And he's like, all right, never mind. I got lucky. There's no way.
Speaking of Chapman, you mentioned Chapman. I did a little bit of analysis on the side today. I was bored at work.
What a numbers guy, huh?
I guess. I mean, I am an accountant, so I'll lean into that if I have to. But that wasn't even by the numbers. It was just watching Chapman, and I'd noticed him. I don't know why I found this out. My friend showed me this, and I was like, oh, this could probably help with X, Y, and Z. I don't know the answers to this. I don't know if this is actually the case, but, it certainly seems like it's helping him. It seems like something's working. I don't know if this is a Matt Blake thing or a him thing, but if you notice the video that I'm referencing, the one we posted today, it's just like his hands are much lower than they were before. I don't know what that maybe you're lower to the ground. He's squatting more, so he's generating more power. That's why there's the uptick in velocity. I don't know. It might be a little bit of an MLB scout. That might be what I should be doing with my life. Not talking to this microphone, just, I call him as I see him, Chandler. It's just what it is.
That's excellent analysis. I don't know, to be honest with you. And that's a great little, I
just thought it was fun.
I
thought it's not really, it could be nothing whatsoever. It probably is nothing, but, we're baseball nerds here. We talk about it for fun, and
it's worth noting. I
thought it was interesting. So I thought I'd share that with the people today. Shout out to my friend Greg Kassar. He helped me with that one, with a little bit of the analysis there. He actually shot me a ping on my work email. So
oh wow, great eye, Greg.
We didn't really do much. We just talked about Chapman today at work, and it was a great day. Honorable mention as well. I didn't want to do this. I didn't want to give him his own thing on hot or not. Stanton went over
come back. Come back to earth.
He went over the past 2 days, and then he got a single in the first, but then he had 2 strikeouts and a flyout to right field, center field, excuse me.
I saw he was 2 for 12 with like 7 Ks since his hitting streak.
He's coming a little bit down to earth, and you can notice you did see him in the game today. Did you see how like a little? I don't know if you were asleep for this because you said you were asleep for half the game, but good game to snooze, to be honest. But when I think he flew out to. No, he definitely struck out. It was
no, the one to center field where he threw the bat behind him.
That may have been that one too, but I think the strikeout in the 5th, he went like this and like almost. I thought he was gonna snap the bat over his head.
Yeah.
You could tell he was a little frustrated because he couldn't physically get out before.
It's his own fault. He cut his hair. Everybody like
he did cut his hair, didn't
That's
he?
baseball 101. If you're on a hot streak, you
don't change anything. You don't change
shave
your
your
clothes.
head.
Don't shower. Don't do anything.
No, if you're on a streak like that, you literally wear the same pair of socks. I don't care what you do. I don't care that you play for the Yankees and you got 5-star dry cleaners that are running your shit every day. I don't care. I'm taking that uniform home. I'm sleeping in it. I'm showing up to the field. I'm not washing it. You don't go get a fucking haircut. That's on him. He'll come back and he'll get into another streak. But this is a teaching moment for Giancarlo Stanton. When you get into a stretch like that and you got the fucking fro going, you leave it. You leave that afro. I don't care if it's poking out of the top of your helmet. You do not cut your hair when you're hitting 500 in a major league stretch of games.
I'm not. The reason why I didn't put him in not is I'm not worried about him. This is small sample size. Murph likes to say, "R.I.P. Murph." Don't know where he is. He's in the woods somewhere. But he's gonna hit a home run, and then this is what he does. He just always gets super hot and then super not. He's gonna be a frequent flyer on this in this little segment we do here, but it's just and then it averages out. He'll go 10 for 10, and then he'll go 0 for 10, and then he'll end up being 500. Like you know what I mean? It'll average out completely because he gets so hot and so not. So add to us. One guy who.
Side note, real quick, just because I kind of lump them together. Is it time to finally realize that Judge is a streaky hitter? Like he's not. He's kind of similar to Stanton. He came off like 1 for 24 with like 14 strikeout stretch, and now he's kind of piling on hits and stuff like that. I feel like it's starting to become a pattern that Judge isn't this consistent, just God that we put him at. He's a pretty streaky guy.
I mean, Stanton is the streakiest hitter I've ever seen, I think.
Yeah, but I think it's time to put Judge in that designation.
I agree.
He's streaky. So he is streaky. It's time to admit that, this is the first time we've seen him healthy this far into the season and fucking who knows when. But I think it's time to admit he's a streaky hitter, and that's not a knock on him. I'm not like, oh, this guy never deserves a contract. I'm just saying. Just an observation. Do with it what you may.
No, I like the observation. And honestly, we've made the conversation before. Observation. Can't speak again. Because whenever, Stanton's hot, Judge isn't. So they're inverse. They have an inverse relationship between the two. And it's just, it's obvious. They're both streaky. It's just the way it's been.
Yeah, you tweeted something out the other night. I'm pretty sure it was like, have Judge and Stanton ever hit back-to-back home runs? That was like their thing. They were supposed to be the Bash Bros.
Never have.
And I know we had a bunch of people in the comments that were like, "Yeah, they have, you fucking idiots."
No, they were answering the question to the point where it was like, have they hit home runs in the same game? That's not what I asked, because they haven't frequently ever batted next to each other, which is what we anticipated it to be like when we got Stanton that fine evening back in the day in 2017, the end of 2017. But yeah, I just anticipated a lot more of that, and I was like, wow, it's never happened before. Really expected that to happen. It just did.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be like, I don't know if you're a Mighty Ducks guy or not. I was a big Mighty Ducks guy growing up. I thought it was going to be like the fucking Bash Bros there where they're just slamming shit over the fence. Obviously, hockey, different sport. But you know what I mean. They're just going to be wreaking havoc, the best 2 guys in the league. And weird. Just way off on that. Regardless of what they do, they're definitely not clicking at the same time, just smashing home runs back to back.
Never are. You know who wasn't clicking?
Who's that?
How about this segue? Jameson Tyone. So we talked about it a little bit before. And I just want to give a little update on the status on the Chandler radar. How confident are you in Jameson Taillon? Because I feel like, just from a fan perspective, I don't know what it feels like to be in the box against some MLB pitcher. He doesn't seem like he's that hard to hit. His stuff seems very average.
He still struck out 9 people in 5 innings today.
I know he did. And I'm not saying he's bad.
His stuff seems fine to me. To me, he looks exactly like what he is. He's a guy who hasn't played in 2 years. Like, I don't think he's going to be a 5.4 ERA guy the whole year. I don't think he's going to be amazing. I don't think he's going to be a 1 or 2 guy. Not yet. But I think he has the potential to get there. But I see a lot of positive things from him. He's not a guy where he's out there pitching to this. I'm like, Jesus Christ, get this guy off the fucking mound. Every start looks like he's close. Like the first inning, if we could give the guy some fucking effort. He's got cancer and 2 Tommy Johns, and you can't die for a fucking baseball. And then the inning unravels, he gives up 2. And, that kind of mounts on and on and on. He ends up giving up 4 or 5. But, I mean, obviously, you don't know if he makes the play. He doesn't make the play. Whatever. I just feel like it's one thing each start. And that was the one in this one that kind of, sets it over the top. I really and truly do think he'll be a critical piece to this rotation. I just think he's missing one step, and I think that comes with time.
I don't know. I mean, with him, I didn't really have many expectations going into the season anyway. We got this guy, and Gerrit Cole put his nuts out on the line for him. Like, this guy's a competitor. This guy's this, which I'm not saying he's not, and he may very well be. I just don't see, like, we haven't seen that flash yet, and maybe this is unfair to judge him because we lump him in the same category as Kluber because they both haven't pitched in a year, and Kluber is pitching exceptionally, and he's way ahead of schedule in terms of his road back to being the pitcher he was. And Taillon is lagging behind a little bit in terms of that immediate. Like, we're seeing the race, and we're seeing both of their years unfold at the same time on the same team. So they're very easily compared to each other. So maybe that's a little bit unfair to say that Taillon's doing bad by any means. I think it is because of that, though. I am thinking, my first reaction today when he started giving up 4 runs in the first couple innings, I was like, And I saw people on Twitter be like, maybe when do we just expect, or when do we just come to terms with the fact that Taillon's just not a good pitcher? I think this is, I just in the moment realized that's kind of what it is. It's just he's unfairly judged in this moment to Corey Kluber because Corey Kluber is in the same boat he was, and he's just excelling, and he just found it. Nobody just does what Kluber's doing. It's kind of honestly wild. It's more credit to Kluber to the fact that he's able to just come back and just deal. And he's just being that guy again. And hopefully he continues this, but it's more power to him. And I've talked myself into, I opened this little topic about, is it time to kind of like not give up on Taillon, but like the anticipation for him to be not a great pitcher. Like, he may not be the guy that we thought he was. Don't know if there's many expectations, but I've talked myself around this, and I'll give him another chance is basically what I've come to.
Yeah, no, I kind of like exactly what you're saying. He's being unfairly judged neck and neck to Corey Kluber. Corey Kluber is a seasoned veteran that, he's been here for fucking years. He's won 2 Cy Youngs. Taillon had 2 seasons where he didn't have a major injury or illness. Like, it's totally unfair to expect him to come out. He's doing exactly what we wanted in all of our preseason roll calls and stuff like that. He shows flashes of really sharp pitches. It's just a matter of putting it together for a full start, which on top of that, just kind of to build onto it, he had to redo his entire pitching motion. All of his mechanics he rebuilt in the offseason. He made them shorter. That was like a huge topic of discussion. He shortened his windup. He did all this. He did this. He did that. Whatever. He rebuilt himself. You don't just come out there on the biggest stage and do it. It takes a second.
Is that your cat again?
It is. He found a paper bag and he's running in it.
Shout out to, what's his name?
Oliver.
Shout out to Oliver for ruining our podcast.
I know. What a piece of
The
shit.
people that made it this far are the real ones. They're not going to shut
They
it
are.
off because of Oliver
A paper bag.
being
yeah.
a piece of shit. Yeah. So
He's fine now. He's just laying in the bag, but he tried to attack it.
Gripe alert.
Go ahead.
So
Gripe
I
alert.
need to get by next episode. I promise everybody I'll have a sound bite queued up for gripe alert. But for the moment, I'll just
All
keep
the
it.
guys at 161st.
That's Michael K's voice. I meant to push a different button, but you know. Gripe alert, gripe alert, gripe alert. I might record my own voice and just put gripe alert and just put some music behind it. But I have a gripe, Chandler.
Please share.
I'm a little bit upset, and I know Gary supporters are going to be triggered by this. I'm a little bit like just Gary hitting useless home runs. Just the one home run he'll hit. He has a 50% K percentage in the last ever. I think it's the whole season, to be honest. But it may be the last 2 weeks, but it's probably the whole season too. Just like him hitting like the useless home runs, so that like, we're at a point right now that Higgy, I think we're all okay with him being the starting catcher. I think he's just a fucking unbelievable defender. He is just amazing at defense.
I don't even know if he's unbelievable. In all fairness, like he might be. I'm just saying, Gary's catching is so bad that all you have to do is be mediocre. I watched Gary Sanchez frame a pitch today. I text you right after it. It was a strike. It was like a 94-mile-an-hour fastball right down the middle, and he framed it out of the strike zone. Thank God they still called it a strike, but he stabbed at it. That it hit his glove. It wasn't like Tyone missed his spot. It hit him in the fucking hand. He didn't have to move. He stabbed at it and pulled it out of the strike zone. And it was just like, what are you doing? This is like little league level stuff.
And pitchers don't have to. Not pitchers. Catchers are basically pitchers in the box at this point. If you look at all of the catchers in the league, none of them can really hit. So it's not bad company. And the production we've been getting out of the offense from the catcher position is like 6th in the league. It's not bad offensively. And I'm not worried about that. I'm just talking about if we're going to get that type of production, and we're not expecting much production out of the offense, and I've said this for a long time, so if you've been listening for a while, this is a broken record, I'd rather at least just have some defense there. And if you were to guess who are the highest defensive WAR people on the Yankees this season, who would it be?
Well, I know the answer, but it wouldn't be who the actual person is. I would have guessed like DJ, Judge, stuff like Gio, not fucking Glaber, but
All right, spoiler alert, you know the answer, but
I do know
Glaber
the
Torres is at 3.2. That is unbelievable. He's tied with Trey Turner, who is a defender. And I don't know. This is just a testament to like how his WAR calculated, because what I'm seeing does not translate to the best, almost the best WAR. He's the 12th in the MLB. He's tied with Byron Buxton in defensive WAR. Byron Buxton is, look it up in the dictionary, a defender. Like he does that. That's his thing. And he just figured out the offense now.
That was the thing that kept him in the major leagues. He was like the number one prospect, and they kept bringing him up like probably prematurely. And it was like, yeah, whatever Buxton's back comes around, because he's a plus defender. And now you're talking about Torres and fucking Byron Buxton, the same category
He's tied
defensively.
with Buxton this year defensively.
Exactly.
That's just like, no, I don't agree with that.
No, that's absolutely asinine.
That's not. Just like how is WAR calculated?
Use your eye test. Like numbers be damned, whatever you want. Byron Buxton's not fumbling a routine ground ball every other game.
He's making the routine ones, and then he's making the flashy ones too. And Glaber's fumbling routine ones and occasionally making a flashy one. So
yeah, it was so funny. They were sitting there praising him about his WAR. It was like almost as if on cue. It was the next inning. There was like a little bloop dribbler to him at short. It was like a one hopper, like 22 exit velo, hit the dirt right from me, stared at it, hit him right in the chest. I was like, okay, there you go.
You know what I'm gonna do?
There's your best shortstop in baseball.
I have a little homework assignment for myself. I'm gonna do it.
What are you gonna do?
I'm gonna figure out how war is calculated. I'm gonna die.
Good fucking luck.
I'm gonna do it.
It goes all the way down to like this stadium.
I'm gonna do it though. I'm gonna literally calculate war. I'm gonna figure it out. That's my homework assignment because I don't get it. I don't understand how it's. There's no way that Gleyber Torres in 33 games played is tied with Trey Turner for the shortstop lead and 12th in the MLB. 12th in the MLB. Do you know how many MLB players there are? He's 12th in the MLB.
There's a lot
with WAR. So we got a little bit off topic, but the main point of me asking you that question wasn't about Gleyber. It was about somebody else. So Kyle Higashioka has a 3 WAR with limited time being played. He's in and out of the lineup, and he has a 3 WAR. So that puts him just about, give or take 15th MLB in defensive WAR, and that's in 18 games versus 33 for Gleyber. And just about everybody played about 33 if you're a regular starter, and he is not. And he has 3 WAR. So that's my gripe for Gary, because he's just... We know what we get at Higgy. Higgy is 99th in pitch framing. He's literally the best pitch framer in the MLB. He's got a 3.0 defensive WAR in limited time playing. He's like 15th in MLB in defensive WAR. He's a damn good defender. He's probably one of the better defenders at the catcher position, behind probably JT or Muto. Real Muto. Tougher name to say. He's going to do the damn thing at defense, and Gary's just doing enough to keep
He's not even doing enough.
No. He's doing enough to keep this annoying conversation going. He's not doing like, if he didn't hit that home run, the past 2 home runs he's hit in the last 2 weeks, this conversation is over, done with. Then Higgy is the catcher, I think, at this point. But he hits 2 home runs, and he strikes out half the time, and this annoying conversation continues to happen, and I'm not going to be a part of it. So I'm now shunning this conversation on this podcast from here out.
I just want to say one more thing, and then I'm shunning it, too. I don't get the Yankees' loyalty to him. Kyle Higashioka is a favorite. Cole, your best player on your team, loves the other guy.
Gives a shit about the rules. Market zero.
I give a shit about the rules, and the rules are we're done with this.
Okay, there you go.
He sucks.
Fuck. He's terrible. He's terrible. He is a terrible baseball player.
I'll never understand the blind faith for him, since for one season of just hitting a bunch of home runs and being the player that he is now. So I'm not going to get too deep into that right now, because I'm just not going to. One thing that I also, while I was on the topic of defensive WAR, and I've kind of noticed it a little bit, is the whole thing about Judge just pulling up on balls. He's been pulling up on balls like he was before, and his defensive WAR is negative 3.3. It's just
it's not good.
Can you show some fucking effort? I know you're a good defender. Just do it. Just do that.
There's a difference between being bad at defense and not trying.
Yeah.
I know,
you
and
said
there's
it in
a
the
difference.
Chat.
There's a difference between playing conservative and not trying. He's playing overly conservative. I think he's so scared to get hurt that he won't catch routine balls. Even his diving play, I put asterisks by it, or air quotes, today. He fucking half-ass jogged.
He tumbled to the ground. That wasn't a dive.
Yeah, it was the giant fucking pillar 7-foot statue falling down. And thank God he caught it, because there's nobody behind him. And I'm pretty sure that took him out for a week. So
in other news, Luis Severino threw a bullpen today.
Oh, yeah. No, he threw against live hitters.
That's what he did. He threw against live hitters. And he hit 96.
I don't know how he did.
He hit 96, and apparently he did well.
I didn't say, whatever I saw, he did great.
No, apparently he did well, and he hit 96, and he did really well. So
96 is not bad for your first time after Tommy John against live hitters.
Yeah.
I'll take a few more ticks. I still wouldn't mind seeing the 100-mile-an-hour Sevy, but
we had a few. 96 right now is unbelievable. He's gonna get back, and
I know. I'm being an asshole.
Very good sign. You are being
absolutely
an asshole.
Love it.
So one DM that we got about the Sevy conversation was young underscore EBT underscore LMAOO. What a name. But he said, who's the odd man out when Sevy comes back, and what are your predictions for him this season?
I don't think there's an odd man out, honestly. I think what they'll end up doing is just going with an extra arm. That's kind of a cop-out answer. If I had to pick one person, though, right now, it would be Tyone. But I don't know. I feel like they're going to find a way to get everybody innings just because of all the injury history with everyone. And by the time he comes back, you're going to hit that late summer fatigue. I feel like that's the most realistic option. But if I had to throw somebody under the bus, as of today, May 13th, it'd be Tyone.
I don't think Tyone gets the boot.
I don't either, but who else are you going to pick? I mean, you got Domingo, but he's been great.
I would take Tyone over Domingo.
You don't say it with confidence.
Said not very convincingly, but he's just like not. I don't know.
For what reason? Though?
Neither of them do it for me, and truth be told, I just don't like Domingo. So
no, he's not. He's not a good person.
He's not a good guy. That's the thing that I forgot to mention about the Tyone thing is that people were giving him shit. And other people that I know in person, just people are giving him shit. And like, at what point do we just like, do we say that Tyone's not good? And for whatever reason, Tyone to me, he just seems like a great guy, and you just want to pull for him. So I don't want to be mean to him, Like we are the Gordon Ramsay of Yankee podcast. We don't give a fuck about anybody. I don't give a fuck because they're probably not coming on this podcast anyway. So why not? I don't give a shit if we burn the bridge. So Tyler Wade is a perfect example of that. If he doesn't like us anymore, but we were the Tyler Wade fan club to begin with, so it is what it is. No hard feelings, Tyler. But he seems like a good guy, and I don't want to be mean to him, so I'm not going to, and I don't think I should be, but. He just seems like a good dude, so you want to pull for the guy. So that's probably what's like performance aside. I would take him over Domingo, no doubt about it, because Domingo's just a shitty person. But I don't know. That's just
I don't know. I mean, yeah, he seems like a good guy, but like I really do think that he can still be a good pitcher in this league. I don't know. He showed me play. He struck out 9 people in 5 innings today. I mean, that's pretty good. He has sharp pitches. He's learning to pitch again.
That's why they got him here. He's a spin rate guy. He's like,
exactly. Yeah. It's been 2 years. He's thrown 5 starts. Yeah, no shit. He's not a Cy Young candidate right now. I don't expect him. He's exactly what we expected him and Kluber to be. Kluber is just fucking a freak of nature and somehow light years ahead of his track.
Yeah, just to reiterate again, I think it speaks more to Kluber, more to how great Kluber's been, less to how mediocre Tyone's been.
This is what we expected. He is exactly what we expected. If you compare them to the one to the other, you're going to be disappointed in Tyone. Before the season started, this is all we asked from him, was be a back-end rotation guy and work your way towards being a good pitcher in this league again. Yeah. And that's what he's doing.
All right. I think that'll do it from me. A lot of you wanted to talk DMs about potential trades. We already talked about that a little bit, and yeah,
it's too soon to tell on a lot of them.
The only reason we brought that up last week was because we wanted to talk about the Scherzer thing because we just saw him, and we think it'd be a perfect fit. Do we think the Yankees are going to get him? Maybe not. I think it's the glaring let's go win the World Series move. And if you do that, it's like a we're here type thing. Do I think they're going to do that? No. Do I hope they do it? Yes. Do I hope they trade for Trevor Story? Absolutely. Why would you not? Do I think they're going to do it? No. Do I think Hal has the balls to do something like that? Absolutely not. I think he's going to make another move similar to a Tyone type trade.
We're going to get Matt Harvey and fucking like Freddie Alvis.
But I don't want it to be like that, though. Like, why can't you just
I don't either, but that's
where we are right now. And I agree. I think that's what's going to happen. So
that's what's going to happen at the deadline. We're going to trade, like, Florial and some minor league, like, 32-year-old pitcher who's in high A for Freddie Galvis and Matt Harvey. So, no, I don't think Scherzer's going to happen. I don't think Story's going to happen. I don't think Seager's going to happen. Would it be awesome? Absolutely. And it's fun to dream about it. We talk about the Yankees. That's when you talk about the Yankees for a couple hours a week for other people to hear, eventually you're going to have to bring up some long shots. That's just the nature of the beast. No, it's not going to happen, but it's fun to talk about. So
It is fun to talk about.
it's fun to dream.
I think there's going to be another Wandy Peralta type
Look,
deal.
he's been good,
He
honestly.
hasn't given up a run in 3 innings or so. So that's pretty decent.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's going to stay true, but you know what? Good for him.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
The whole tone just got so sad talking about
Presented
that.
by Action Network. Download the app.
Gamble
With us responsibly. If you made it this far, we'd love you, and we'd appreciate it if you gave us a 5-star rating review on iTunes. Subscribe to the YouTube at the Bronx Pinstripes YouTube. That's where we do the live streams. Do it on Twitter as well, which is probably where we gotcha. But yeah, give us a 5-star rating on iTunes. It really makes us happy because that's what helps the algorithm. So helps us get this voice and that voice to more people. So helps us make more of these shows and gives us the juice. And honestly, I'm gonna read some of the reviews that we've got on iTunes because some of them were fan-fucking-tastic, and I want to give a shout out to those people. So shout out to, let's scroll down.
Whoever just said that these guys get it, I don't know his name off the top of my head.
We put that in the last episode, or I put it in the story, and the guy, I forget who it was honestly, but he responded and he said that was mine, and I was like, you're the fucking man, dude. Yeah, we do get it. He just said because when they put the name, just going forward, if you're gonna write us a review on iTunes, put your actual name so we can shout you out on the next show. Because this guy who said these guys just get it, he titled it right on, gave us 5 stars, and his name was Theys and SND. I don't know what you're doing, but we do get it, and you get it, and that's that. Gerrit K12 said, if you're a true Yankee fan, you have to start listening. Was never a big podcast guy until I started listening. Instantly got hooked. Great segments every episode. I would like to argue that these are the best Yankee podcasts out there. Just love you guys.
We actually talked about that in person. That was one of our topics of discussion while I spent my week in New York. Was about that one. The guy who's not a podcast guy but loves the segments, because I know somebody here is a big segments guy. So
it's a little bit fun. Well, I like segments. Segments are...
They make the world go round.
Organized fun. So I'm going to keep them going.
I like them. I
So
was
get
just
used
saying.
to them.
No, that was a compliment.
Rounding third on Friday. Action Network on Friday. Download the Action Network app.
Do it. Follow me. You'll lose money.
161 Luke.